Hello and welcome. I'm Peter, and we're here to make progress, not perfection, but on that way to progress, we need to learn a little bit more about Hwoarang and flush this character out. So last time we talked on the series, Hwoarang has stuff like down 3-4 into right Flamingo, and in this video, we're going to talk about more in depth about how he can go into right Flamingo and how to counter that. So those of you who haven't watched the last video, it's going to be up here, so make sure to check that out because this video is going to build off of that. So without any of that knowledge, you're gonna have a hard time with this video. Anyways, with this video, I wanted to cover things like 1-2-4 into right Flamingo, 2-4 into right Flamingo, down back 4 into right Flamingo, and so on and so forth. The other transitions basically into right Flamingo for Hwoarang. With that out of the way, let's get to the video. One, 2-4. 2-4, down back 4, forward, and up forward 4. Okay, these options, whether it's 1-2-4, 2-4, down back 4, 4, or down back 4, forward, or up 4. These 4 options, all 4 of these options, you play around them the same way, and I'm gonna go into them. I'm just gonna use 1-2-4 as an example, because they all leave you at +3. Okay. Remember how I said you cannot step after down 3-4? After down 3-4, this cannot be stepped, right? You can try your hardest to step this, but you just don't have enough frames. You do not have enough frames. Well, in the case of any of these, so 1-2-4, you can step this now. You can step this now. This is now steppable. And the same goes for some of the other attacks. In this situation, this becomes much more manageable to deal with. So you're not left in a situation where you're like, I gotta block mid, I gotta block low, or mashy mashy. So let me just go through some more of the options. Why not? You see this? After these situations, 1-2-4, 2-4, down back 4, forward hold. And up 4, as De Wilmer put it. These mids, these 4 mids up here, 1, down forward 4, up 4, and back 3. All 4 of these options can be negated with sidestep right. All 4 of these options can be negated with sidestep right in this situation. The only option that you cannot avoid is the homing power crush. But, as who the fuck in chat said it? It was Valix. Sidestep right block. This is where you sidestep right block. Right? Because if I do any of these options, right? Or I walk it, right? I'm either safe or I've blocked it. I either stepped it or I kept myself safe in this situation. So this is one of the practice routines you should probably get used to doing. This is definitely one of the ones you should get used to doing, which is set all these mids in here, right? Set all these mids in here and then put the power crush in here as well. So then you can get used to this kind of timing, right? Get used to this kind of timing where you're able to block this power crush by doing a quick sidestep right, but you're able to avoid all the other options, you know, by doing a sidestep right block. So that's one of your practice routines that you should incorporate. If you get hit by 1-2 and he goes into Flamingo, this no longer becomes a viable option to step. He is at plus 11, which means you can no longer step this anymore. What you thought was okay to step is no longer okay to step anymore. You are no longer okay to step this if you get hit by it. If you block it, oh hell yes, you can step. But if you get hit, you just forfeited your options to step. And this is the same thing that goes if you get hit by two Flamingo, right? If he does the 2 jab into Flamingo, it's the exact same thing. Yes, we go back to the down 3-4 strategy. Exactly. We go right back to the down 3-4 strategy. This is the only move that if you get hit by it, you can step, which is down back 4. Down back 4 is the only move if you get hit by this and he goes into Flamingo is where you can step. This is the only move that on hit you're allowed to step if he goes into Flamingo. Right Flamingo to be exact. Right? You can step that option. You can step this option. You can step block this option. Right? Step block this option. So down back 4 into right Flamingo stance is the only one where you are allowed to step on hit. Where it gets a little bit tricky is with stuff like 2 jab into Flamingo, because you don't have nearly as much time to register as 1-2 Flamingo. 1-2 Flamingo, you have more time to register on this because there's 2 hits, but 2 jab into Flamingo, you're gonna have to like, you have to sidestep almost immediately. 2 jab into this, you have to be super fast. You have to recognize that 2 jab, he's going into this. You see how fast this is? You see how fast this is? You have to be super fast on this 2 jab. And that's what makes it tricky. 1-2-4, 2-4, down back 4, and up 4 into right Flamingo stance. You can step all of these mids, step block all of these mids, but you need the timing for 2-4, down back 4, and up 4. I guess up 4 is a little bit easier. You have more time, in my opinion. But these options here, 2-4 and down back 4, you have to be very quick on these. You have to be quick on the draw if you hope to step some of these options. Flappy kicks. Because Flappy kicks comes out in 8 frames, it makes it very difficult to deal with. You cannot step this. But the one good thing about Flappy kicks is Flappy kicks is not a natural. Flappy kicks here is not a natural launcher. It's only natural you mash into it. If you mash into Hwoarang at +3, this is the unfortunate side effect that happens, which is why I say it's inadvisable. It's inadvisable to mash into Hwoarang when he's at +3. You can interrupt a bunch of stuff, but you can also just get launched by Flappy kicks. But like I said, with all these other options, when he's at +3, you can try to sidestep, right? You can try to sidestep here, and you will sidestep block will be almost all of these options. All of these options, right? Sidestep block, pretty fucking good at. And then as soon as you get your balls slightly tickled by the Flappy kicks, right? As soon as your balls get slightly tickled by Flappy kicks, you hold back immediately to block, right? Otherwise, you're stepping, blocking, step, block, right? Step, block. Oh, Flappy kicks. Got my balls tickled. All right, blocking right there, right? Soon as you get your balls slightly tickled, you block Flappy kicks. And if you think they're gonna do the high, right? If you think they're gonna do the high, then you just duck the last hit and launch them, right? You can get both your balls tickled by the Flappy kicks and still duck in time to punish the last hit. All right, both balls tickled, launched. All right, don't touch my balls. We've covered Flappy kicks here, which is the RFS forward 4 and RFS forward 4-4. Flappy kicks. The mid options, block, sidestep, and then we have the lows. Let's talk about the lows. This. You cannot step this either way. You cannot sidestep this either way. Right? I'm even trying to sidewalk this. You cannot. There is no stepping on this. There's absolutely no stepping on this. If you want to avoid this, you're just gonna have to make a read on a block. Or you do a counter hit launcher. You just have to play around the hell sweep mostly. You just have to play around the hell sweep. If you can play around this snake edge, right? If you can play around this snake edge, then you're golden. You're golden. All they have to really do is threaten you with this hell sweep, right? That's mainly it. If you get nailed by 1, 2, 4, nope. If you get nailed by it, you're taking the mix. 2, 4, you're taking the mix. Up 4, you're taking the mix. Down 3, 4, you're taking the mix. That's how you should be approaching it. Unless your character has some crazy evasive options that can get you out of jail, and which you guys will have to lab on your own, I highly advise in those situations to just block low, block mid, or mash. So I will talk about mashing right now. There is a world where you mash at -14. Let's take these scenarios. These are the scenarios. Down 3, 4, hell sweep. Down 3, 4 into down forward 3, or down forward 4, which is a counter hit launcher. Down 3, 4 into back 3, which is to dissuade you from doing the hell sweep, from low blocking the hell sweep, which is, you know, -10 on block. We talked about this. If I were to try to mash a jet upper into any of these, even the hell sweep, I get my ass handed to me, right? It's a counter hit. And this doubly goes for these options as well. I'm just giving him more damage if I mash my jet upper in this situation, right? Counter hit. So obviously you don't want to press buttons. You just want to block when down 3, 4 comes at you. So you're blocking mid, you're blocking low. But as I said, there is a world where you mash because motion switch is a thing. And this is where we talk about motion switch. When Hwoarang is in either left flamingo, right flamingo, he can switch to the other flamingo. So he can switch flamingo stances, which allows him to switch back and forth between the flamingos. Left, right, right. This becomes dangerous to let Hwoarang freely switch into flamingos because out of left flamingo, Hwoarang has this kick. And it looks like this! Right? Out of left flamingo, Hwoarang has the exact same down 3, 4. Which means, follow my logic on this, which means down 3, 4, motion switch into down 3, 4, motion switch down 3, 4, down motion switch down 3, 4. These are all 20 damage apiece. It is all dependent on your pain tolerance, on how many of these you would like to eat for breakfast before you decide I need to do something. So if this happens to you where you're just getting down 3-4 motion switch into down 3-4 over and over like this, you mash your most rewarding 15 frame launcher. I think you should just make a read on it, because regardless of what you press in this situation, you're gonna get counter hit. If I press a jab, this is me mashing jab, right? I'm getting counter hit. I'm getting counter hit. Which is why if I jab, I'm getting counter hit. If I jet upper, I get counter hit. But this is the reward, right? I jab, I interrupt him. I jab, I interrupt him. Oops. I jab, I interrupt him. But I jet up or I interrupt him. Like, you kind of have to weigh this out. Like, you have to think, which of these is worth it? Alrighty guys, so that about covers it for Hwoarang's right flamingo attacks, as well as the various ways, without going further in depth about the stances, about how he can possibly enter into right flamingo. So to recap, things like down 3-4, 1-2-4, 2-4, down back 4, up 4, these various attacks that don't involve him being in left flamingo or right foot forward stance, because I haven't talked about those two specific things. Anyways, make sure to keep up with this ongoing series so you don't get left behind and you can learn more in depth about this character, because he is complex, but there are ways to play around him. See you next time, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching, guys, and joining me on this video. Also, thank you so much, patrons, for your ever so gracious support. Without you, this would have not have been possible. And if you're new here and you like what you see, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification icon. Below in the descriptions, as always, I also have my links to my Discord, Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon page. See ya next time.